All right, welcome back to Pickleballmuse. This is our fourth episode now. We have a special guest with us. Introduce yourself.
Hey everyone, Connor Garnett here, pickleball player, and stoked to be on the pod. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Of course.
All right, let's jump right into it.
Originally from Bellevue, Washington, close to where pickleball started, was pickleball part of your life growing up?
Yeah, so I played once or twice. I recall like at my aunt's beach house, but that calling it pickleball is a little ambitious because I don't think I had any idea what the kitchen was. It was just us like whacking a wiffle ball as hard as we could at each other, more or less. So that was kind of all I experienced. And then when I moved Orange County a couple years ago, that's when I got introduced to the actual rules and the sport and learned about it and saw kind of what it was and all the coolness about it.
Have you been home since the recent explosion of the sport?
I have, yeah. I get to go home for the holidays most years. My parents will sometimes come down too, but my dad and I, along with a few other people, are opening up a pickleball facility in Seattle or in like Everett, Mukilteo area. I was gonna say Seattle there, but I figured I'd be specific since you guys already double checked on the Seattle Bellevue area. So we're opening that up, and that's gonna be opening August 1st. So I'm going to sneak back there more and more with that kind of first indoor facility being open there.
It's amazing.
Did you mention it being open on August 1st?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so funny enough, Penny and I are actually going to Portland on August 1st, and we would love to come through if it's open to anyone
Yeah,
to come.
yeah. No, that would be amazing. We'll definitely get you out there. Reach out when you're heading up that way, and we'll make it happen.
All right,
Great.
perfect. Sounds great, Connor. What actually surprised me when researching you is more about your past and not even about your current career. You used to do investment banking. I want to hear a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I went to college for finance, did a 1 year master's in finance and investments in England, and was looking to play pro tennis for a little bit. COVID hit, and so I was trying to find something with my degree that I wanted to do. And I think everything else kind of didn't jump out to me right away. And then when I started learning more about investment banking, kind of that high stakes team environment was something that really appealed to me. So I did that for 2 years in SoCal at a middle market firm, DA Davidson. So I wasn't clocking the like 100 hours of a Goldman Sachs, but we were still grinding the 70, 80 hours a week at times. And so honestly, I loved it as a first kind of career. It sets you up for so many things, and it's just it really gave me a good like foundation on the finance side for even the pickleball stuff. Like I would say, people that know me or like that work with me, they would describe me as a little too eager to build a Excel financial model. So investment banking's to blame for that for sure.
Funny
All
enough,
right.
I think Al wanted to ask you about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Following up on the investment banking part, are there any parallels from your previous career to pickleball in your current career or anything that applies?
Yeah, I would say there's definitely like the interesting thing about pickleball, unlike a lot of other sports, is there's not really like a roadmap where you look at like NFL's extreme because they're getting paid a ton, but you look at that like the money they are getting just off their contract, they have all the infrastructure of like, oh, here's a physical trainer, here's what your day is going to look like, and so it's really all planned out, and that trickles down to even tennis and most other sports will have kind of your whole day mapped out. Where pickleball is a little bit newer, so you can be doing some of the like doing clinics, doing like I have merch, I have like the Tui Nation hats and like some gear like that. So there's all these other things that I'm kind of doing on the side as well as playing and focusing on competing and winning first and foremost. So having that background kind of helps me manage those things while still focusing on what's most important, which is playing, competing, and going out there and getting W's.
Absolutely, absolutely. Makes perfect sense. And you actually brought up my follow up, your brand, TUI. If you could tell us a little bit about that and like what was the inspiration behind it?
Yeah, so I my backhand, two-handed backhand, everyone kind of started calling it a tui, so I leaned into that, and the word tui had kind of been out there, so I basically was like, hey, why don't I lean into what I'm known for? Made some hats, made some merch, kind of crazy. So my first sport was baseball, and I started batting left-handed. So even in tennis and then now in pickleball, everything on the left side of my body has always felt comfortable. I haven't really had much, if any, technique on that side, whereas my forehand and right side of my body has kind of been reconstructed and started off a lot rougher. And so that's kind of the inspiration and genesis, I guess, behind Tui, and have been rocking it. And it's just kind of a fun way to lean into what I'm known for.
Awesome, great.
So you were a hitting partner for Djokovic at the U.S. Open. So how was it hitting with Novak?
Yeah, that was an awesome experience. I remember. I think that was in 2019, and there's a video on YouTube somewhere circulating that someone took of me, and you can see during this, like my feet never stop moving just because I'm so nervous. I'm like, I was actually not supposed to be the one warming up Djokovic for that match, or I think it was a practice day. But anyway, there was supposed to be another hitting partner. They couldn't get a hold of him, so I was all the way on the other side of the U.S. Open, and I get a call like, hey, do you want to hit with Djokovic right now? And I was like, heck yeah, I do. So I started like running across the grounds with a tennis bag. And obviously I'm not a pro tennis player at that point. So everyone's like, kind of like, what is this guy doing? And then I made it to the court. His coach was like, you're a little late. And I was like, yeah, the other hitter wasn't able to make it. And he kind of looked at me and he was like, oh, like he wasn't able to handle the pressure. Huh. Hopefully you're up for it. And so it was just kind of like such a cool, like surreal experience. When I was out on the court, the ESPN commentators were right next to the practice court, and they like looked at Novak as he walked in, and he kind of nods at them, and they're like, "Hey," and wave at him, and so it was just like it was pretty surreal.
Oh, that's awesome. So how would you get someone like Djokovic to start like playing pickleball?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's more of like for those guys, kind of a hobby for fun. I mean, you have Jack Sock, Sam Querrey, Donald Young, all playing pickleball, and a lot of the tennis players, I believe, I think Carlos Alcaraz and a few others have played it. So it's similar. It's a similar sport, but I think just as a pastime, like I think those guys would definitely be interested in playing it, but competing in it is a whole different thing. And that's a lot of years of tennis to hop into something else, unless it's just more for fun afterwards.
Mm.
It's true. It's true. All right. Well, thank you so much, Connor. That's the end of today's podcast. Al has a gift on behalf of the whole team.